The room is a shadowed cave, lit only by the sickly glow of an old CRT television balanced precariously on a warped wooden stand. Dust motes drift lazily in the flickering light, clinging to the screen in faint, spectral patterns that seem to writhe when you squint. The small town of Ashwood, Oregon, lies beyond the grimy window, its streets desolate under a sky heavy with bruised gray clouds. The air outside is thick, oppressive, as if the town itself is holding its breath. Inside, a cheap digital clock on the wall blinks to 37 a.m., its red numbers pulsing like a heartbeat in the stillness. Time feels irrelevant here, swallowed by the weight of the night. Elliot Harper, 28, slouches on a sagging couch. His lanky frame, draped in a worn hoodie, his eyes, shadowed by sleepless nights, are half closed, and a can of flat soda dangles from his fingers, threatening to spill. He's a part-time coder, a drifter in Ashwood's quiet decay, chasing freelance gigs and haunted by dreams of leaving this nowhere town. The TV, tuned to a dead channel, hisses with static. A white noise lullaby that's been his companion through too many sleepless nights. He's drifting, half-conscious. When the screen snaps to life with a jolt of electricity that hums through the room like a warning, the static clears, replaced by a jagged burst of white noise that claws at the edges of the screen. Then, a message, a voice mechanical yet disturbingly human, like a transmission from a rusted satellite crackles through the speakers. This is not a test. This is a message from November 17, 2032. The alignment is coming. You have 72 days. Prepare. The words crawl across the screen in blocky, blood-red text, each letter pulsing faintly, as if alive. The voice loops relentless, and the screen shifts to a grainy Fida city. Unfamiliar, its skyline fractured like broken glass. Skyscrapers lean at unnatural angles, their windows dark. Streets below are choked with abandoned cars. Their headlights, dim and flickering, streetlights sway, casting erratic shadows, and a faint, unnatural glow pulses on the horizon, green and sickly, like a wound in the sky. Elliot's breath catches. He leans forward, the soda can forgotten, rolling across the floor. The voice speaks again, but now it's layered. A second, fainter speaker weaving through the first, like a ghost trapped in the signal. Ashwood will be the first. Find the signal. Stop the alignment. The screen flashes coordinates 45.6789, 123.4567, unmistakably local, pointing to a spot just outside town. A single frame interrupts the feed. A symbol, a jagged spiral with 3 radiating lines, burns into the screen, searing itself into Elliot's mind before the TV cuts to black. His hands tremble as he fumbles for his phone, recording the final seconds of the broadcast. The room feels heavier now, the air thick with an unspoken presence. The static returns, but it's different, laced with faint whispers, fragments of the message looping in the noise. Elliot's pulse races. He dials. Mara, his friend from college, a 30-year-old former radio DJ who's never met a piece of tech she couldn't dissect. Her voice, groggy and annoyed, crackles through after 3 rings. Mara, turn on your TV, channel 47, now. His voice is raw, urgent, almost pleading. What? Elliot, it's the middle of the damn night. Just do it. Across town, Mara Reyes sits up in her cluttered apartment, surrounded by a jungle of old radios, circuit boards, and tangled wires. Her dark curls are a mess, her sharp features lit by the glow of a laptop screen. She's been up late, as always, tinkering with a vintage receiver, chasing signals that no one else cares about. Her flat-screen TV, a relic from a thrift store, hums to life at her touch. Instead of the expected infomercials or late-night reruns, it mirrors Elliot's broadcast. The same distorted voice, the same red text, the same chilling coordinates. Her eyes narrow as the spiral symbol flashes, its jagged lines seeming to pulse with intent. She grabs a notepad, scribbling the coordinates and sketching the symbol. Her hands steady despite the unease creeping up her spine. On the outskirts of Ashwood, in a cluttered garage lit by a single swaying bulb, Leo Nguyen, 35, hunches over a battered ham radio. His calloused hands, stained with grease, pause over the dials. A mechanic by trade, Leo's a skeptic, quick to dismiss conspiracy theories and ghost stories. But when his radio crackles to life, unprompted, spitting out the same message that alignment is coming, Ashwood will be the first, his jaw tightens. The coordinates flash in his mind. He knows that spot, Blackthorn Hill, home to an abandoned radio tower from the town's logging days, its rusted skeleton looming over the forest. The broadcast ends, but the radio hums faintly, as if reluctant to let go of the signal. The message spreads like wildfire across Ashwood. A handful of others, insomniacs, night shift workers, and the perpetually paranoid, catch fragments of the broadcast on their TVs, radios, even phones. By 3 a.m., the town's small X-community erupts with blurry screenshots, shaky videos, and frantic posts. #Ashwood signal trends locally. Threads filling with speculation, government experiments, alien signals, end-of-the-world prophecies. Some dismiss it as a prank, but the coordinates and the symbol linger. Unexplainable. Elliot, Mara, and Leo, strangers bound by the message, feel its weight settle over them. The coordinates point to Blackthorn Hill, a place whispered about in local lore, stories of strange lights, missing hikers, and equipment that fails without reason. Elliot replays his recording, the spiral symbol burning in his mind. Mara pores over her notes, cross-referencing the coordinates with old maps, her pulse quickening as she realizes the tower's significance. Leo, in his garage, tests his radio again, catching faint echoes of the message in the static, as if it's still out there, waiting. The town of Ashwood sleeps uneasily, unaware of the eyes now fixed on it. The message wasn't a warning, was a summons, and for Elliot, Mara, and Leo, there's no turning back. They don't know each other yet, but the signal has chosen them. The spiral, the coordinates, the alignment, it's all real. And it's coming. In the quiet of Elliot's apartment, the TV hums faintly, even though it's unplugged. A single frame flickers on the screen, the spiral glowing faintly, watching. The morning sun struggles to pierce the heavy blinds of Mara Rhea's cluttered apartment in Ashwood, Oregon, casting jagged shadows across a labyrinth of old radios, circuit boards, and tangled wires strewn over every surface. The air is thick, with the scent of burnt coffee, stale takeout, and the faint metallic temps of solder. A low, persistent hum from a nearby transformer buzzes like a trapped wasp, blending with the soft crackle of static from a small flat-screen TV perched precariously on a stack of yellowed electronics manuals. The screen is frozen on a single haunting frame from last night's broadcast, a jagged spiral symbol with 3 radiating lines, its edges pulsing faintly as if breathing. Mara, 30, her dark curls tied back in a messy bun, sits cross-legged on the worn hardwood floor, her sharp eyes scanning the image. Her notebook lies open beside her, pages dense with frantic scrawls. The coordinates 45.6789, 123.4567, crude sketches of the spiral, and disjointed notes alignment. Blackthorn Hill, signal origin, go. That's Elliot Harper, 28, slumps in a rickety chair, his lanky frame swallowed by a faded hoodie. His tired eyes, shadowed from sleepless nights coding for freelance gigs, flick nervously between the TV and his phone, propped against a chipped coffee mug. The phone loops the grainy video he recorded at 2:37 a.m., a distorted mechanical voice, intoning, "This is not a test. This is a message from November 17, 2032. The alignment is coming. You have 72 days. Prepare." The words are followed by footage of a shattered city, skyscrapers tilting like broken teeth, streets littered with abandoned cars, their headlights flickering in eerie sync with a sickly green glow pulsing on the horizon. Elliot's hands fidget, his fingers tracing the edge of his phone case. The broadcast feels like a memory he can't place, a nightmare that lingers in the daylight. He's been scouring X posts since dawn, finding dozens of Ashwood residents, truckers, insomniacs, a retired librarian who saw the same message, all sharing blurry screenshots and cryptic theories under hashtag #AshwoodSignal. Leo Nguyen, 35, leans against the wall near the window, his arms crossed tightly over his grease-stained work shirt, a mechanic with a skeptic's edge. He's quick to dismiss ghost stories and conspiracy theories, but last night's broadcast on his ham radio, unprompted, crystal clear as cracked his resolve. The coordinates point to Blackthorn Hill, a place steeped in local lore, hikers lost in the fog, compasses spinning wildly, radios picking up voices that shouldn't exist. His battered receiver sits on Mara's cluttered table, its dials twitching faintly, as if still catching echoes of the signal. Leo's jaw is set, but his eyes betray unease. Darting to the window where Ashwood streets lie unnaturally quiet, the overcast sky pressing down like a lead blanket. The TV's glow carves hollows in their faces, painting them in shades of blue and gray. Mara replays a clip she downloaded from an X post, one of many flooding the local hashtag. This version, uploaded by an anonymous user called SmiaWatcher, reveals a new detail. Beneath the distorted voice, there's a rhythmic clicking, like a metronome or a coded pulse. "Listen," Mara says, her voice low and urgent. She cranks the volume, and the clicking sharpens. Deliberate, almost mechanical. Elliot leans closer, his brow furrowing. It's not random, it's structured, like Morse, but off, too fast, too layered. He's no expert, but years of coding have honed his ear for patterns, and this feels intentional, like a message within the message. Leo scoffs, though his voice wavers. "What? Do you think this is some sci-fi code from the future? Could just be a prank, Mara, some kid with a signal jammer." But his skepticism feels hollow. He's seen the rusted radio tower on Blackthorn Hill, its skeletal frame looming over the forest. He's heard the story's equipment failing, strange lights flickering in the tree's end last night. His radio spoke without power, the voice cutting through static like a knife. He shifts his weight, glancing at the receiver, which hums faintly, its needle quivering despite being unplugged. Mara ignores him, her fingers dancing over her laptop as she pulls up a topographic map of Ashwood. She marks the coordinates, zooming in on Blackthorn Hill. This is no prank. The signal hit every device in town, TVs, radios, phones, even that old CB in your garage. Leo, that's not some kid with a toy. That's infrastructure. Her screen displays the hill's terrain, dense forest, a winding trail, and the abandoned radio tower, a relic from the town's logging days in the 1960s. The coordinates point here. Blackthorn Hill. Something's up there, and it's calling us. Elliot shifts uncomfortably, his gaze locked on the spiral symbol. The message said find the signal. What if it's not just a broadcast? What if it's a beacon, or a trap? His voice cracks slightly, betraying the logic he's trying to hold on to. He's been digging through X threads all morning, finding fragmented accounts of the broadcast. One user, Ashwood Ghost, posted about a spiral carved into a tree near the hill decades ago, a post that vanished within an hour. Another claimed their car radio picked up the clicking even after they turned it off. The stories feel too consistent, too precise, to be coincidence. Leo paces his boots, scuffing the floor. If this is real, why Ashwood? We're nobody. A dying mill town with nothing but trees and ghosts. He gestures at the window, where the street outside is desolate, no cars, no voices. Just the faint rustle of leaves in a windless air. The sky seems lower now, its clouds heavy and unmoving, like a storm that refuses to break. He catches his reflection in a cracked mirror, the TV's glow casting the spiral's shadow across his face for a fleeting moment. He blinks, and it's gone, but his pulse quickens. Mara slams her notebook shut, her jaw tight. Doesn't matter why. It's happening. We've got coordinates, a symbol, and 72 days, until whatever the alignment is. She points at the TV, where the spiral seems to shimmer, its lines sharper than before, almost taunting. We need to go to Blackthorn Hill tonight, before this thing, whatever it is, gets worse. Her voice is steady, but her hands betray a slight tremor as she adjusts her glasses, her mind racing through possibilities. A government experiment, a rogue signal, something older, stranger. Elliot hesitates, his fingers tapping a nervous rhythm on his knee. That place, you know the stories. People go up there and come back, wrong, or not at all. He glances at Leo, seeking an ally, but Leo's staring at the receiver, which crackles again, unprompted. The clicking from the broadcast weaves through the static, rhythmic, insistent, like a heartbeat from somewhere else. Leo's hands clench into fists. Fine, he says, his voice gruff, but we're not going in blind. Flashlights, radios, a camera. If this is a setup, I'm not getting caught with my pants down. He adjusts the receiver's dials, catching another faint burst of the clicking, now mixed with what sounds like a distorted whisper, too faint to decipher. Mara nods, already packing a bag with tools. A handheld radio, a signal analyzer, a battered Polaroid camera, and a pocket knife for good measure. Dusk half-hour drive to the hill. We find the tower, we find the signal. Her confidence is a mask, but it's enough to pull them together. The TV flickers, the spiral briefly replaced by a distorted image of Ashwood's main street, its streetlights pulsing in time with the clicking, their glow tinged green, like the horizon in the broadcast. The image lingers, unprompted, before snapping back to static. The apartment feels smaller now, the walls pressing in, the TV hums, even though Mara swears she unplugged it. Outside, a single streetlight buzzes, its light flickering faintly green, mirroring the broadcast's eerie glow. The three exchange glances, their faces etched with tension, the TV's light carving their features into masks of determination and fear. The spiral watches, its lines seeming to twist in the corner of their vision. The clicking grows louder, a countdown echoing in the static, pulling them toward Blackthorn Hill. They don't know what's waiting, but the signal has chosen them, and there's no turning back. The main drag of Ashwood, Oregon stretches out under a sky the color of ash, its clouds low and unmoving, like a shroud draped over the town. Dusk has settled, painting the world in muted grays and blues, but the streets usually alive with the hum of pickups, diner chatter, and kids on bikes is eerily silent. No cars roll past the faded storefronts of Main Street. No voices echo from the corner bar, its neon sign dark. The only sound is the faint, irregular buzz of a single streetlight, its amber glow flickering in a stuttering rhythm that feels almost deliberate, like a signal struggling to stay alive. The air is heavy, thick with the scent of pine and damp asphalt, as if a storm is coming but refuses to break. Elliot Harper, Mara Reyes, and Leo Nguyen move cautiously down the sidewalk, their footsteps unnaturally loud in the stillness. Elliot's hoodie is pulled tight against the evening chill, his phone clutched in one hand, its screen replaying the spiral symbol from last night's broadcast, its jagged lines seeming to pulse in time with the flickering streetlight. Mara's backpack clinks softly with gear, her handheld radio, signal analyzer, and Polaroid camera slung over her shoulder. Her sharp eyes scan the empty street, catching on small details, a coffee cup abandoned on a bench, its lid rolling. In the gutter, a shop window with a faint reflection of the spiral, gone when she blinks. Leo walks a step behind, his mechanic's hands shoved deep in his pockets, gripping a flashlight like a lifeline. His battered ham radio, clipped to his belt, hums faintly, picking up static laced with that same rhythmic clicking from the broadcast, a sound that's followed them since Mara's apartment. The trio heads toward Blackthorn Hill, the coordinates, 45.6789. 123.4567 burned into their minds, pointing to the old radio tower just beyond town. But Main Street, their route out, feels wrong. The diner's sign, usually buzzing with a faint hum, is silent, its windows dark but reflective, showing distorted glimpses of the street behind them. A stray dog, usually seen scavenging near the gas station, is nowhere in sight. Even the wind feels absent, leaving the trees lining the street unnaturally still, their leaves frozen mid-sky. The streetlights, spaced evenly along the road, flicker in a pattern on-off on-pause mimicking the clicking from the broadcast. As if the town itself is echoing the signal, Elliot stops, his breath shallow, pointing at a lamppost across the street. "Look," he whispers, his voice barely carrying. Scratched into the metal, barely visible in the dim light, is the spiral symbol. Its 3 radiating lines, jagged and uneven, like a wound carved into the pole. Mara steps closer, her Polaroid camera clicking as she snaps a photo. The flash illuminates the street for a split second, revealing something else. Faint, chalk-like markings on the pavement, more spirals, smaller, scattered like breadcrumbs, leading toward the edge of town. "This wasn't here yesterday," she says, her voice steady but tight. She kneels, tracing one with her finger, the chalk smudging under her touch. Someone's been marking the way. Leo's eyes narrow, his skepticism warring with the unease crawling up his spine. "Or something," he mutters, glancing at the radio on his belt. The clicking grows louder, sharper, weaving through the static like a voice trying to break through. He adjusts the dial, and for a moment, a distorted fragment of the broadcast cuts in. "Ashwood will be the first." The words send a chill through him, and he quickly mutes it, but the clicking persists, now audible in the streetlight's buzz, in the faint hum of a power line overhead. "This place is giving me the creeps," he says, his voice low. "Let's move." They press on, the street stretching longer than it should, as if the town is reluctant to let them leave. The storefront's hardware store, pharmacy, thrift shop stare, back with dark windows, their reflections warped, showing glimpses of movement that vanish when looked at directly. Elliot's phone buzzes in his hand, unprompted, the screen flashing. To a live feed of Main Street, the same empty street they're walking, but the angle is wrong, too high, like a security camera no one's ever seen. The spiral symbol pulses on the screen, overlaid on the image, and the feed cuts out. "What the hell?" he breathes, showing the others. Mara grabs the phone, her fingers flying over the screen, but the feed is gone, replaced by static and a faint, looping whisper of the broadcast's voice. Mara's signal analyzer beeps, its needle spiking as they near the edge of town. "The signal's stronger here," she says, her eyes flicking to the horizon where Blackthorn Hill looms, its silhouette barely visible against the darkening sky. The tower's rusted frame juts out like a skeletal finger, catching the last of the dusk's light. It's coming from the hill, but it's everywhere. She adjusts the analyzer, and the clicking syncs with the streetlights. The radio, even the faint hum of her own heartbeat. The device's screen flashes a warning, signal overload, source proximity critical. Leo stops at a crosswalk, his flashlight beam sweeping the empty intersection. The pavement is marked with more spirals, some fresh, some faded, as if drawn over weeks or years. One larger than the others is etched into the side of a mailbox, its lines glowing faintly green under the beam, like the horizon in the broadcast. "This isn't random," he says, his voice barely above a whisper. "Someone or something wants us to follow." He glances back at the street, now shrouded in shadow, the streetlights flickering, growing erratic, like a code breaking down. Elliot's eyes dart to the sky, where the clouds seem to pulse, their edges tinged with that same unnatural green. The broadcast said 72 days. What if it's not just a warning? What if it's already started? His voice trembles. The coder's logic he clings to fraying under the weight of the empty town. He checks his phone again, finding a new X post under #Ashwood signal. A blurry photo of Main Street, time-stamped 10 minutes ago, showing 3 figures walking them, but no one else was there to take the picture. The post is gone when he refreshes. Mara shoulders her bag, her jaw set. "We're wasting time. The tower's close. Whatever's sending this signal, it's up there." She steps forward, her boots crunching on the chalk spirals, each one a marker pulling them toward Blackthorn Hill. The streetlights flicker faster now. They buzz louder, almost vocal, chanting the clicking rhythm. The radio on Leo's belt crackles unmuted, spitting out a single word: "Hurry." The voices in the broadcast sits softer, human, desperate. They move faster, the town's silence pressing against them like a physical force. The street ends at a gravel path winding into the forest, where the tower waits. Behind them, Main Street vanishes into shadow, the streetlights dimming one by one, their green-tinged glow fading into darkness. The spirals on the ground seem to glow faintly, leading them forward, a path they can't refuse. The clicking follows, echoing in their ears, their pulses, the air itself, as Ashwood holds its breath and the signal pulls them deeper into the unknown. The gravel path to Blackthorn Hill crunches underfoot as Elliot Harper, Mara Reyes, and Leo Nguyen emerge from the dense forest, their breaths visible in the chilly night air. The rusted radio tower looms ahead, its skeletal frame piercing the sky like a forgotten monument. Ashwood lies below, its empty streets barely visible through the trees, the flickering streetlights now dark, swallowed by the unnatural stillness. The trio's flashlights cut through the darkness, their beams jittery, catching on gnarled branches and the faint chalk spirals scrawled on rocks along the trail. Mara's signal analyzer hums in her hand, its needle pinned to the red, the clicking from the broadcast now a constant thrum, syncing with their pulses. The air, the ground itself. They reach a clearing at the hill's summit, the tower's base surrounded by overgrown weeds and rusted equipment crates. The sky above is heavy, the clouds churning slowly, their edges tinged with a sickly green glow that pulses faintly, like the horizon in last night's broadcast. Elliot's phone, still clutched tightly, vibrates unprompted, its screen flashing, static before displaying the spiral symbol, its 3 radiating lines twisting as if alive. Leo's radio crackles, spitting out fragments of the distorted voice. Find the signal. Stop the alignment. The words cut off, replaced by that relentless clicking, louder now, echoing off the tower's metal struts. Mara sweeps her flashlight across the clearing, pausing on the tower's base. The spiral symbol is etched there, carved deep into the rusted steel, its lines glowing faintly green, as if infused with the same light as the sky. This is it, she whispers, her voice tight with a mix of awe and dread. She adjusts her signal analyzer, its screen flashing, source detected, proximity, critical. The clicking intensifies, no longer just sound but a vibration in the air, rattling the loose bolts of the tower, buzzing in their bones. Then, the sky shifts. A low hum, like a distant engine, rolls through the clearing, and the clouds part, revealing a massive, shimmering circle of light hovering above Ashwood. It's not a star, not a plane too vast, too precise, its edges sharp and unnatural. The circle pulses, its light a cold, metallic silver, laced with streaks of green, casting a warped reflection across the town below. The streets of Ashwood, visible from the hill, glint as if coated in glass, the spiral symbol faintly visible in the reflected light. Etched into the pavement, the rooftops, the very fabric of the town. The circle's glow intensifies, and within it, faint shapes flicker fractured buildings, twisted streets. A mirror of the desolate city from the broadcast. As if the future is bleeding into the present, Elliot stumbles back, his flashlight shaking. What the hell is that? His voice cracks, his coder's logic crumbling. His phone screen flickers, now showing a live feed of the clearing them. Standing under the tower, but the angle is impossible. From high above, as if the circle itself is watching, the spiral symbol pulses on his screen, its lines twisting, faster, syncing with the clicking that now feels like a heartbeat in the air. Mara drops to her knees, her Polaroid camera clicking as she snaps photos of the sky. The flash illuminates the clearing, revealing more spirals scratched into the ground. The trees, even the tower's support beams. Some fresh, some weathered, as if they've been here for years, waiting. It's not just a signal, she says, her voice trembling but resolute. It's a projection. Something's using the tower too. To anchor this, her analyzer beeps frantically, its screen now showing a waveform that mirrors the circle's pulses, each spike aligned with the clicking, the green glow, the spirals. Leo grips his flashlight like a weapon, his skepticism drowned by the weight of the sky. This isn't tech, he mutters, his eyes fixed on the circle. This is something else. His radio crackles again, unmuted, and a new voice breaks through, not the mechanical broadcast, but a human one, faint and desperate. You're too late. It's already here. The voice cuts off, replaced by static, but the clicking persists, now joined by a low, resonant hum from the tower itself, its metal vibrating as if alive. The circle in the sky pulses brighter, and the air grows heavy, pressing against their chests. The reflection on Ashwood shifts, the town's streets now showing faint, moving figures, shadows, humanoid but wrong, their movements jerky, their outlines blurred. The spirals in the clearing glow brighter, their green light pulsing in time. With the circle above, Mara's analyzer sparks, its screen glitching, but she scribbles the waveforms pattern in her notebook, her hands shaking. The signal's coming from the tower, but it's amplified by that. She points at the sky, where the circle's light now forms a faint spiral, its lines matching the one carved into the tower. Elliot's phone buzzes again, the feed, now showing the clearing from multiple angles, impossible perspectives, as if the signal is hijacking every device, every viewpoint. It's watching us, he says, his voice barely a whisper. He scrolls through X, finding new posts under hashtag Ashwood Signal. Blurry photos of the circle, reports of radios turning on across town, all playing the clicking, the spiral appearing. On screens, windows, even mirrors. One post, from an account called No Horizon, shows a grainy video of the tower, its base glowing green, with shadows moving in the trees, shadows that match the figures in the sky's reflection. Leo steps toward the tower, his flashlight beam catching on a rusted panel at its base. The spiral is there, but now it's surrounded by smaller symbols, lines, dots, curved like a code or a language. This wasn't here last week, he says, his voice low. He's been up this hill before, fixing equipment for the town's sparse utilities, but the tower feels different now, alive. Its hum growing louder, syncing with the circle above. He touches the spiral, and the metal is warm, vibrating under his fingers, sending a jolt through him. He pulls back, swearing, his hand tingling as if burned. Mara grabs her signal analyzer, now smoking slightly, and points it at the sky. Frequencies shifting, she says, her voice urgent. It's not just broadcasting, it's receiving. Something's answering. The circle pulses again, and the shadows in Ashwood's reflection move faster, their forms clearer enough, thin, their limbs too long, their faces featureless but watching. The clicking becomes a chant, a rhythm that pulls at their thoughts, urging them to move closer to the tower. Elliot drops his phone, the screen cracked but still glowing, the spiral spinning wildly. We need to shut it down, he says, his voice panicked. The tower, the signal, whatever this is, it's using it. He scrambles toward the tower's base, searching for a power source, a cable, anything to break the connection. Mara follows, her Polaroid snapping photos of the sky, the tower, the symbols, each flash revealing more spirals, more shadows, as if the clearing itself is rewriting itself around them. Leo hesitates, his flashlight beam sweeping the trees. The shadows from the sky's reflection are closer now, their forms flickering at the edge of the clearing, their movements silent but deliberate. The radio on his belt screams, the human voice breaking through again. Run. It's here. The circle above pulses one final time, its light flooding the clearing. The town, the world, in a blinding wave of green and silver. The spirals glow brighter, the clicking deafening, and the tower hums with a power that feels ancient, unstoppable. The trio freezes, their faces lit by the circle's glow, their shadows stretching long and twisted across the ground. Each one, marked with a faint spiral. The sky watches. The signal sings, and Ashwood below reflects a future that's already begun. The clearing atop Blackthorn Hill vibrates with an unnatural hum. The rusted radio tower at its center pulsing with a faint green glow that mirrors the massive circle of light still hanging in the sky above Ashwood. Oregon. The air is thick, heavy with static, as if the atmosphere itself is charged with the signal's energy. The rhythmic clicking that has haunted Elliot Harper, Mara Reyes, and Leo Nguyen since the first broadcast now thunders through the clearing, no longer confined. Two radios or devices, but resonating in the ground, the trees, the bones of the trio standing frozen under the tower, the spiral symbols etched into the tower, the rocks, the very dirt beneath their feet, glow brighter, their green light pulsing in time with the circle above, casting jagged shadows that twist and writhe like living things. Elliot clutches his cracked phone, its screen flickering with static, the spiral symbol spinning wildly, overlaid with fragments of the broadcast's desolate cityscape, fractured buildings, empty streets, that sickly green horizon. His breath comes in shallow gasps, his coder's mind scrambling for logic in a world that's unraveling. Mara's signal analyzer sparks in her hands, its screen glitching with unreadable waveforms, but she grips it tightly, her sharp eyes darting between the tower and the sky, where the circle's silver-green light pulses faster, its edges sharpening into a perfect spiral that mirrors the carvings below. Leo stands rigid, his flashlight beam shaking as it sweeps the clearing, catching glimpses of shadows, those same tall, featureless figures from the sky's reflection moving just beyond the trees. Silent but closing in, the tower groans, its metal struts vibrating as the hum grows louder, a deep, resonant drone that shakes loose dirt from its rusted joints. Mara's radio, slung over her shoulder, crackles to life unprompted, spitting out the distorted voice from the broadcast. The alignment is here. You were warned. The words cut off, replaced by a scream of static, and then silence. The clicking stops abruptly, leaving a void that feels louder than the noise. The trio exchanges glances, their faces pale in the glow of the spiral symbols, each one feeling the weight of the silence like a physical blow. Then, a low buzz cuts through the quiet, not from the tower but from below, from Ashwood itself. The trio turns, looking down at the town nestled in the valley. The streetlights, previously dark, flare back to life, but their glow is wrong green, pulsing in sync with the circle above. Every screen in town TVs, in shop windows, billboards, even car dashboards lights up simultaneously, casting a sickly light across the empty streets. From the hill, the trio can see the faint glow of Mara's apartment, where her TV, left on, now dominates the view through her window. Its screen burns with blocky blood-red text. "IT's too late." Elliot stumbles back, his phone slipping from his hand and hitting the dirt. Its screen still showing the spiral, now frozen on the same message. "It's too late." "No," he whispers, his voice breaking. "No. We can still stop it. We have to." He scrambles toward the tower's base, clawing at the rusted panel where the spiral is carved, searching for a switch, a wire, anything to break the signal. His fingers scrape against the warm, vibrating metal, the spiral's glow burning brighter. Under his touch, as if rejecting him. Mara drops her analyzer. Its screen cracked and smoking, and pulls out her Polaroid camera, snapping frantic photos of the sky, the tower, the town below. Each flash reveals more. The shadows in the trees are closer now. Their forms clerical, impossibly thin, their featureless faces turned toward the trio, watching without eyes. The photos develop instantly, but the images are wrong. The tower appears warped, its struts bending into spirals. The sky shows not one circle but dozens, overlapping, spinning. Ashwood streets are filled with shadows that weren't there a moment ago. It's not just the tower, Mara says, her voice trembling but defiant. It's the whole town. The signals? It's rewriting everything. Leo grabs a crowbar from his bag, his mechanic's instincts kicking in despite the terror, clawing at his chest. Then we take it down, he growls, moving toward the tower's base. He swings the crowbar at the panel, the metal clang echoing through the clearing, but the spiral glows brighter, the hum spiking into a deafening wail. The ground trembles, and the circle in the sky pulses violently, its light flooding the clearing. The town, the world, in a blinding wave of green and silver. The shadows step forward, no longer confined to the trees, their forms flickering like static, their movements jerky but deliberate, as if drawn by the tower's call. Mara's radio screams again, the human voice from before breaking through. You can't stop it. It's already here. The voice dissolves into static, and the TV screens below and Ashwood flash in unison. The red text shifting to a new message. The alignment is complete. The words burn into the trio's eyes, inescapable, as the circle above collapses inward, forming a perfect spiral that spins faster, its light searing the sky. The town below reflects it, every surface window's pavement, even the air itself, etched with the spiral, glowing green, pulsing like a heartbeat. Elliot falls to his knees, his hands shaking as he picks up his phone. The screen shows not just the message but a live feed of the clearing, their faces lit by the spiral's glow, their shadows twisting into spirals of their own. It knew, he whispers. It knew we'd come. He scrolls through X. The hashtag Ashwood signal, hashtag now flooded with posts from accounts that don't exist, videos of the spiral in the sky, photos of shadows standing in doorways, reports of the clicking in every town within 100 miles. One post, time-stamped seconds ago, shows the trio from behind, standing in the clearing. But no one else is there. Leo swings the crowbar again, desperation fueling his strength, but the tower doesn't budge. The metal feels alive, warm, resisting. His blows, the shadows close in, their forms now visible in the glow of the spirals, their featureless faces seeming to hum with the same frequency as the tower. Mara grabs her notebook, flipping through pages of waveforms and sketches, searching for a pattern, a clue, anything to stop this. The signal's looping, she says, her voice frantic. It's not just broadcasting, it's feeding. On us, on the town, on everything. The circle in the sky spins faster, its spiral tightening, and the ground shakes harder, cracks forming in the dirt, each one glowing green, forming smaller spirals that pulse in time with the tower. The shadows step closer, their forms now half-human, half-static, their outlines flickering like a corrupted video feed. The radio, the analyzer, Elliot's phone all scream with the same message. IT's too late. The words echo in their minds, in the air, in the hum of the tower, as the spiral in the sky collapses into a single point of blinding light, then vanishes. The clearing falls silent, the glow fading, the shadows gone. The tower stands still, its hum gone, the spiral's dark. Ashwood below is quiet, its screens black, its streets empty, but the air feels wrong, heavier, as if the world has shifted. Elliot, Mara, and Leo stand frozen, their faces pale, their shadows still faintly etched with the spiral's shape. The signal is gone, but the message lingers, burned into their minds. The alignment is here, and they are part of it now.